Hey, what's up? Look at us. We're back, the Sixth Floor podcast, and here we are. Look, we went on YouTube last week. We had like one view. So we're trying to build on that. But I'm
It's only up from here.
That's right. There's Breeze, there's Johnson in the lower left, and then there's Sags in the lower right. Glad you all could be here again for this. Another, overrated, underrated. And, you know, we kind of exercised a lot of different things over the last three shows. We hit sports, we hit food, we hit Pearl Jam songs. No, we didn't hit Pearl Jam songs. What was that? What was your
sporting events?
Yeah, sporting
NBA.
Events. Yeah. All right. So we'll take it a different way today. And we have the potential for some lively discussion. I'll just leave it at that. But we all know that we've been hit pretty hard with the COVID-19 and the pandemic and the lockdown.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it hasn't made the news. But there are quite a few things that I consider overrated when it comes to this thing. And, we'll dive right into it and see. I know, Sags.
I just have no idea where this is going to go.
I know you don't. That's what's great about it. I'll go 3-1 here. The numbers, and then we'll kind of debate them after each one. The number 3 thing on my list of overrated during the pandemic is news conferences. Look, I get it. You know, you want to tell us everything that's going on, but do we really need one every day to let us know that people are sick, the cases are going up, wear a mask? Look, I'm here in the Huntington metro area. So I get West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. I get all 3 of those press conferences. Breeze, you're in Lexington, right? You get one.
Yeah.
You get Governor Beshear.
Right.
Bang Bang. Oh, I forgot about that. Bang Bang because
It's never going to not be fun.
Okay. So you're in Philippi and you get Jim Justice, right? Is that the only one you get?
That is the only one I get.
All right. And Sags, you're in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So you get one from your governor. And you don't get that?
No.
You don't see it?
No, he doesn't do them.
What? Okay.
No, he's done Governor Bill Lee. He's done like 3.
What about Kane? Since Kane's the mayor down there, has he done any?
They've done a couple, just like kind of like you said, but they're more spaced out and they're like only for important stuff. Like
Okay.
They'll tell the cases and you can go to the website or they'll post something on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. But there's not a daily press conference down here.
Well,
If there is, I haven't seen it.
We get them all, and
I get Andrew Cuomo.
Okay, well, that's probably one you don't want to see. But so I see 3, okay, and the news channels down here they show them all. So you get the little nerdy guy Mike DeWine from Ohio. You get Andy Beshear, who follows along with what Mike DeWine says in Kentucky, and then you got Big Jim Justice in West Virginia. And if you see his press conferences when he actually cussed somebody out, I think, in one of them, he said a bad word. He said he didn't say it, but, you know, if you play the tape back, you can hear. And he always says every way, shape, form, and fashion over and over again. And he always says, now, what we need to do is wear a mask. So let's join hands and be separated. What? What does that even mean? How can you do that, Jim? But yeah,
Jason, he's running to the fire. If you watch one of his press conferences, that's another. We could have a show about his catchphrase.
You could.
Yeah. So
He's like the Rock of governors.
yeah,
He's got so many of them.
been called Bundy.
But my favorite is when he always says now, and he drags that out. But I mean, look, I get you want to keep the public informed, but there's only so many days in a row that you can say Well, we had 47 cases here in West Virginia, and they were between the age of 2 and 114, somewhere in that range. And then you go to Kentucky, and then you go to Ohio, and it's the same thing over and over again. And I just think that, if you do that once a week, or like in Tennessee, Sags, you put it out there on social media, let people see it. Just let them see it for themselves. Just put some quality program on the television, like Leave It to Beaver or something, and get those jokers off the air. Now, I will say this. The thing that's overrated, but the thing that I like about these is in the corner, you've got the sign language people, right? And sometimes
and they get angry, don't they?
There's one, the lady in Ohio. Oh my goodness, you ought to
angry.
see a clip. She looks mad and like and just wants to punch you in the face. I'm like, I have no idea what the governor says because she's angry at me. It doesn't make any sense.
There's the one that looks like Letterman. I think he's in like New Jersey or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he looks like Letterman. He's got the big gray beard, and he's the sign language guy. And he doesn't look angry, but some of them, they look mad, man. They're mad at COVID.
Maybe if they just let the signers issue the mask mandates, maybe more people will take them seriously because they'd be afraid of them because they are so mad.
I saw a sign language guy, or I think it was a guy, yesterday, had a clear mask on.
A clear mask.
You could see his mouth.
I could do that because when I watch people talk, when I have conversations, I usually look at the mouth to make sure I understand what they're saying. And with this whole mask thing on, I'm sorry, say it again. Excuse me. But that's one aspect of this whole thing that I think is overrated, and that is news conferences. Way too many. Let's get them out of here because we know what's coming. It's never good news. I think maybe if there's good news, maybe they then should have a press conference. But until then, just shut up.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know if to me, a lot of them, there's no news, and that's the problem. Because one of my jobs at Connect Bridgeport, we made a decision early on. We were going to do stories on every press conference by Jim Justice. Seemed like a good content provider in March. Now that we're closing in on August, I am so sick of watching his press conferences. I mean, there's only two of us. And we alternate who actually writes the story off the press conference. But, I mean, the other one is usually watching along. So I have watched every single one of them from start to finish. And if I never watch another Jim Justice press conference, that would just be great. That'd be awesome. But no, it's just so exhausting, and I'm so sick of looking at his face. And all right,
man, I feel for you. I didn't know that there was anybody out there that watched every press conference. Wow.
I think it's starting to sound like we might need to create a GoFundMe page for Johnson so that we can raise some money and send him off on a Bahama vacation once everything settles down.
We don't even have to raise that much money. I just want to go to the Cincinnati Zoo and see that hippo. That's like the only thing I want to go do. So
Fiona the hippo.
Yes, Fiona. She's awesome. No, see, I mean, it's just it gives you a lot different perspective when you have to watch all of them for work purposes. And like I was prepared to not agree with what you were saying, but then after you started talking about it, I'm like, yeah, I've watched 10 gazillion of them, and there's been very few of them where there's been actually what you call breaking news. Some of the decisions involving that's just the SSAC and the sports. There was one a couple of weeks ago where they shut down the bars in Monongalia County, where WVU is at. But those are few and far between. A lot of the days it's just, hey, we're doing good. This is still a problem, but we need to continue doing good. See you tomorrow. So.
But they're 45 minutes long.
The reporters never ask the hard-hitting questions. And if they do, your answer is always, and I think this is the phrase of 2020, if you ask me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they always, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer
Yeah.
that. So,
No, just
Do
a
they
lot
put
of
their
the
hand over the
information.
microphone?
say it again, Sags.
Do they put their hand over the microphone and talk to the person next to them? I don't know.
Sorry, I'm not taking questions today. Now.
Johnson's sick of his face.
Reese?
And he always has a blue Sharpie that he like taps on his desk.
Yeah.
And even like my boss is like, I want to go just grab that blue Sharpie from him and throw it somewhere. So, yeah.
I've only seen a few highlights of Justice's press conferences, and that's the thing that sticks out at me is the blue Sharpie. That's the one memory I have of them.
There you
When
go.
we're done here, I'm going to send you guys a link of the time he cussed on the press conference. And he says he didn't, that he stuttered a little bit. But when you hear it, it's like, whoa.
In his defense, I was watching live that day, and I didn't hear it live. And I, of course, went back and watched the replay of it. And it definitely sounds like it, but I'll till the day I die, I'll say it. I did not hear that live.
Let me see if I can bring it up here. I'll get to that in just a minute or two. I want to get to number 2 because this one could be big. Number 2 most overrated thing about, and this I guess could be 1 really. The number 2 most overrated thing about the pandemic is the fact that everything, and this may be not true for the pandemic, but maybe true for everything in general. Everything is politicized. Everything about this pandemic is either you're on this side or you're on this side. It's not the fact that people are sick and people are dying. It's people are here. You have to wear a mask or you're an idiot. Well, I'm not going to wear a mask and you're an idiot because I vote for Trump. No, I like Joe Biden, but I'm on the left side and I'm on the right and I can't stand anything that Trump's doing. So I'm going to do everything I can to throw you guys off. And the guys on the right side are saying, well, you Democrats are idiots. And why are you telling us to do this and making us wear masks? It's government control and blah, 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 blah. And, you pick a side. It's not the fact that, hey, this is a virus that nobody really knows anything about. There's no vaccine. This thing spreads really quick. If you look at some of the numbers in West Virginia, I just saw this before we started this show. The mask mandate went into effect July 6th or 8th, somewhere around there, where you had to wear a mask, and the cases were like 109, something like that per day. 2 weeks later, your cases are actually higher wearing the mask. So that's fodder for the right side. And again, this is something that we don't really know anything about. People continue to study this with vaccine trials and so on and so forth. But to me, it's all political. And everything in this country has become political. And we can't have a discussion about things and sit down and actually learn and hear your side and hear this side. Because if I'm on the right side and you're a liberal, well, you're wrong. Or if you're a liberal and I'm on the right side, well, I'm wrong. And there's no discussion. It's just argument. It's just yelling. It's bickering. And screw you. That's basically the way it is to me. And that's the way this virus. Now, when it started off, it wasn't like that, if you remember, because it just started in the Northwest and then it started to trickle. And then it's like Trump says, well, we can't have anybody come in from China. And then Nancy Pelosi goes to Chinatown and then they're yelling at each other. And then here we go. All right, it's on now. Now, everybody in the country has it. And if you have it, you're a Republican. That's basically what it sounds like to me. Or if you have it, you're a Democrat. That's the way it goes. It's the over politicizing everything, especially with this virus.
Look, if we want to go down this road,
We're going. We're going.
Podcast,
Do it.
We can.
That's why we're doing it.
All right. You're right. And I'm a big believer that it starts at the top. You know, I've been a head coach before in a retail store, a manager, or whatever. And I don't have, I don't touch everything that actually happens in the store, but the tone I set makes a difference. And I believe that it's the same thing with this. Did Trump and the Republicans bring it in? No, okay, like whatever. But I guess that's one of my issues is they keep saying, well, it's, you know, it came from China. Okay, well, it's here now. Like, let's solve the problem. It's here. I don't care where it came from now. It's July. And I think that Trump's refusal, and if it had been Obama, I'd say the same thing about him. It's just, again, it starts at the top. Is he responsible for every single thing? No, there's 50 governors and, you know, local leaders that have hands in all of this. But he sets a tone. And why he didn't have a Zoom call in March with all 50 governors, I don't know. Again, that's way super far above my pay grade. I don't understand all that stuff. But I think by him not setting the tone, it leads to, you know, people. I mean, the governor of Maryland, I believe it was, he hid, by his words, he hid his testing kits that he got in March or April because he didn't want the federal government to come in and get them. And he's a Republican governor. He hid them. And then when you have people like Jared Kushner saying the federal stockpile is not the state stockpile. No, yeah, it is. That's the whole point in this case. You know, we could have had the Defense Protection Act going into effect in March and April. And again, is it all his fault? No, I do not think that. But again, I think it starts at the top. And I think that's one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons we are in July and there's nobody in baseball stadiums and we're looking at a second lockdown. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But unemployment's running out tomorrow. This week is the last check for unemployment. And it doesn't look like there's going to be another stimulus for that. It's going to get worse. But you're right. It is political. Like, I just wear a mask and like, whatever, man. Like, if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, when you're just being overprotected, which I think is a good thing. So, starts at the top.
Breeze is dying to say something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Breeze, you go next because I know you're chomping at the bit.
Well, no, I mean, it's complicated. It's just so hard to pick any one thing. Jason's right that everything is politicized, no matter what it is. And that's the most frustrating part, I guess, is that because kind of the thing that I've been thinking about every once in a while is that you think about any other aspect of our lives, no matter where we work, no matter what we do, no matter what our family situation is, everything about our life, we try to gather as much information that we can. And we try to rely on who we think are credible sources, whether that be a parent or a coworker or a boss or whoever it is. We want the best information that we can to solve whatever problem we have in front of us. So when you look at this problem and you see everything being politicized, like Jason said, and you can't even trust people want the correct information to make good decisions. And we can't even agree on things that we know is good information without it becoming a fight. We know that masks can help. Is it going to stop it? No. Is there still some possible doubt about it? Yes. But it's the smart thing that we know to do right now. And the fact that we can't even agree on that is just, I think, one of the bigger disappointments. about how politicized it is. And then just on a kind of larger level, like the issue that Jason touched on about everything being over politicized, this has been an issue that has been kind of bothering me for 5 years at least. And I've been doing a lot of reading on this topic, psychology, political science, just getting my hands on all the latest information I can get. And it's just, I've learned a lot, but it's just still, it's like, there's so many reasons why we have reached this point. And we could spend a half-hour show on a half a dozen different reasons. It's just sad that we can't even agree on the smallest set of basic facts anymore.
I agree.
But why is that?
Well, and look, Sags, to your point too, you said it starts at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that there is a huge, huge amount of people, a percentage of Americans that hate Donald Trump and everything he stands for, regardless. If he came out tomorrow and said 100% this works, this is going to cure COVID and we're going to be fine, that percentage of people, even if it was proven, would still say, no, it wouldn't, because it's Donald Trump and he's a liar. Right. And it's not just him. I mean, we could say, the same thing, Obama or whoever. But look, Dr. Fauci has worked under so many different presidents, both Republicans and Democrats. Yet, we get this continued pushback on him and on the leaders who are trying to tell us things. But I don't know. I just think that because it's become so politicized, no matter what somebody says, this percentage is going to take the opposite view.
Well, and that's why I think, again, I say at the top, it's okay to argue on a defense spending bill or, what the millions of other things that Congress and the Senate and the president have their hands in. That's politics. I get that. That's fine. But you get more credibility if this at the beginning, and I don't mean to make this about Trump, but again, my point is it starts at the top, so there you go, is if he at the very start would have stood up there with Pelosi and Schumer and whoever and said, no to this, masks and wash your hands and social distance, we disagree on almost everything, but this we agree on. Even the people that dislike Donald Trump would have said, all right. And I think the same for the people that dislike Schumer and Pelosi and all them, they would have said, well, they're all on this topic. They're all together. The four of us argue on a lot of things, but there's some things we come together and we're like, yeah, that, we can agree on that. And he started from the beginning. It'll fade away. It's going to go away when it gets hot. Blah, 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 blah. And then it leads to now it's, death by 1,000 cuts, Chinese water torture, no pun intended. But it's, the death by 1,000 cuts is all of that lying since March till now. Now, if he did come out and say, this fixes it, people would be like, can we be sure? Because he's promoted this hydroxychloroquine and all this other stuff, and he promotes doctors that he retweeted the other day. I mean, but he discounts Fauci, who's worked on AIDS and every other mass disease since he's been alive. He discounts that and uplifts this other person, and it's like, what are we doing? What's going on? So that's why I think, again, at the top, if they had said at the beginning, no, Nancy's right, and if she had said, no, Donald's right, we got to get this together, we're going to work on this all together, we would be in the mess that we're in now, which goes to your point, it's too politicized.
And to quote John Candy, for them to say the other's right, you have a better chance of playing pickup sticks with your butt cheeks than that happening.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
I think all three of you are 100% correct on everything all three of you said. So I won't rehash any of that, but I do want to touch on how we're divided. And if I went on Facebook right now and I just said, I think Led Zeppelin's third album is their best, and I think Domino's is the best place to get a pizza, I might have one or two people agree with me. Odds are I'm going to have 50 people tell me I'm an idiot and I'm stupid.
Mhm.
Because that's what I think. So if we can't listen and have civil discussions over rock bands and pizzas on Facebook, how are we ever going to see eye to eye on trying to figure out the best way to fight a global pandemic? This country is divided, and it seems like a lot of people are relishing that instead of looking for ways to listen and to figure out how to fix it and to work together.
Well, Mike Tyson the other day, to bring up a past podcast, a friend of the pod, he said social media's, and I'm paraphrasing, but social media's made people, it's okay to say something without the fear of getting punched in the face.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And they, like you said, those Domino's sucks. It's like, well, if they were standing next to you, they'd be like, really? You like Domino's? Like, I'm not a fan. Right. And again, is it the same thing? Yes. In the long run it is, but they go to this nth degree on social media. And I'll be honest, if Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook all folded tomorrow, I would feel bad for the people that work for them. But as for the country as a whole, I think we'd be better off.
That's the perfect segue, because my number one overrated is social media. Both of you guys set that up beautifully. Like just the other day, I went on Facebook.
I'm a middle reliever, buddy.
I went on Facebook the other day, and I posted that Led Zeppelin's third album was the best album they ever did. And I said Domino's Pizza was the best pizza. And I had 50 people say I was an idiot. That's unbelievable. How did you do that? I remember when Facebook was just a place where you go look at people's vacation pictures, and Twitter was about neat little information and fun facts, and I didn't even have Instagram, but then there was MySpace, who had crappy band music on there, and that's pretty much all that was. But now everything social media is political. I thought about doing this just as like a case study of some sort. Just go on Facebook and just type in the name Donald Trump. Don't say anything. Just type the name Donald Trump and see what responses you get, what likes or angry faces or whatever. The next day, type Nancy Pelosi and then go from there and just see the divide, because social media has totally divided this country. When we were kids, we had nothing like that, right? I mean, you had the neighborhood kids that would talk about each other, but what did we do? We went out, we settled things, we played wiffle ball, or we played football in the front yard, right? But now you take to social media, you make some comment, and by the way, we only have about 8 minutes left. You make some comment, and then all of a sudden, you've got 100 people, like Bang Bang said. It's never not going to be fun. People jump on you, and then you get, your Twitter army who comes back and follows you up. No, he's right. No, he's right. And I hate you. And blah, 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 blah. But you see that with social media on Twitter and Facebook, especially. The divide is unbelievable in this country. And that is just driving a wedge deeper and deeper into the political world, into the racial situation, and just, again, continuing to divide us. And, is the pandemic part of that? I think it is, because everybody's stuck at home behind the keyboard. They're not working, or they're working from home. And what do they have to do? Just scroll down Facebook and see what people had for lunch or dinner. Not anymore. It's all about comments, and it's all about pictures and doctored videos and this and that. And, I just think that is, social media as a whole has just become so overrated and overused, and just dividing us even more. And, like Sag said,
it's toxic.
It is. And like Sag said, if they all went away, that'll be fine. But
it's only going to get worse. I don't know if you guys have looked into deep fakes. That's they can put, I'll send y'all some links or whatever, but they can put a face. They could put Obama's face on Trump and make him say things and post it, and it looks like Obama's saying it, or Trump's, or whatever. Again, you can flip it, and or you can make, people somebody does something and you put put Trump's face on that person, and it looks like he's robbing a bank or whatever. It's just scary stupid.
Yeah.
I got rid of Facebook about 2 years ago, and that's fine. Again, Twitter's bad, but you can kind of curate it a little bit. Like I've got like basketball and golf on there. That's kind of my main, things. I try to unfollow other people that do different things. And Instagram, again, to me, Instagram is the least, because it's typically, it's the old Facebook, right? It's vacation pictures, it's different things like that. But again, if it ceased to exist, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But yeah, it's bad, man. Social media is no bueno.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing that's been interesting to me, and some of the reading I've done about social media, I've focused most of my reading on Facebook, and I've been really surprised about how much psychology goes into everything about the site, and how the algorithms are made, and the things that the people who work at Facebook are doing to hit certain areas of our brain to trigger us to behave in certain ways on that site. And some of those things are kind of scary to me, like those little dopamine hits that they feed you to keep you going back and to keep you invested and keep you scrolling and keep you on the site is really kind of scary when you start reading about like how they go about doing that and the reasons why they do that.
Well, the people that have crazy thoughts, or, well, to me, crazy, that's unfair. But, like Phil said before, you had your neighborhood, or maybe your 15 or 20 people at work that were around you. Well, now you can get 20,000 people, that think like you. And it's like, oh, I'm going to join this group. And, it just goes from there. Whereas that guy that was crazy, 30 years ago, well, he was just the crazy guy at the plant. Like, whatever, like that dude is nuts. But again, now he's sharing videos, and it just perpetuates. So,
Yeah, and a certain fraction of the audience is going to believe those and the Kermit the Frog and Sam Elliott memes more than they are, me working for a legitimate media outlet. Not saying that I have a huge audience, but I know Jason has seen a couple of the posts I made. Is like, I mean, we get beat up with people saying that like we created this hoax, and I'm like, first of all, show me the benefit in us creating a hoax that cancels events and prevents us from talking to people. I mean, that doesn't seem very smart from the media's standpoint.
Around the world.
Yeah.
You locked down Italy, Johnson.
Way to go, bang, bang.
But if Sam Elliott tells them in a meme that well, it must be true then. So
I like those Kermit memes. Those are pretty cool.
Or Michael Porter Jr.
We got 2.5 minutes left. I don't know that we have any time to go into any further overrated or underrated, but
well, we don't have to get into it, but just also on top of everything else, just the complete forgetfulness or whatever you want to call it of a lot of people just not understanding how science works.
Yeah.
I guess my big thing, and before so I can let Johnson get cut off again, is I don't like that they just keep showing the total cases.
Yeah.
I just want the current cases.
Absolutely. Active
it's like,
cases.
Oh, we've hit 4 million cases. Okay, yes, and that's bad, and but that's how many of those have recovered? I know some have passed away. I get that, but it's like we don't have 4 million people with COVID right now, right? But they just keep tacking on the numbers. Now, again, the deaths, that's different. Obviously, we need the death count, but it's like another 3,000 tested positive today. Okay, well, if 2,000 then but recovered from the other day from a week ago, then we just have like that's my biggest issue with it. Is it just they're just tacking on numbers at this point.
Yeah. We got a minute 20 to go, and look at that, man. We dove into the political world. We dove into scientific talk. Yeah, what the heck? We never did
Look,
this.
man.
We never did this in Holderby.
We are wide ranging.
It's unbelievable. And nobody left with any
We
black
are.
eyes. That's a good thing.
We are 5-tool players.
That's right. That's right.
We're
Less
the
than a
Mike
minute to
Trout
go.
of podcasts.
We'll get this on YouTube so you guys can not watch it too.
Maybe we'll get 2 views. We'll
All right.
increase 100%.
Well, and please tell us how stupid we are.
Absolutely. All right. That's it for this week on the Sixth Floor Podcast. We'll be back next time. Peace.
All right. Good job, fellas.
Attaboy.